You guys believe in ghosts?
Oh, I do exorcisms periodically.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I blow cigar smoke and I stamp my feet and go, get the f*** out of here!
And it works.
It works.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Maximum Zach. On today's episode, we have Richard and Anastasia Elfman. Yeah, Richard Elfman, the brother of Danny Elfman. You've probably heard of him. Today, we talked about their new film, Bloody Bridget, talked about how they made that movie, and a whole bunch of other So, let's get into it. So, can you guys tell me a little bit about yourselves?
Richard Elfman, born in Los Angeles.
Nice. What about you?
How do you follow that up?
Yeah.
Anastasia Elfman, actress, dancer, burlesque artist, creator, I don't know. Horror enthusiast.
Yeah.
I'm an itinerant jack of all trades.
Yeah. So, I recently watched Bloody Bridget. It was awesome. So what was it like making that movie?
The son of a bitch. Salmon going upstream had it easier.
Yeah.
No, because we self-financed it.
Mm-hmm.
No meetings, no investors, no nothing.
Yeah.
Friends, family, fans. And then kind of a pirate operation. I mean, we're pleased with the way it came out.
Yeah.
But, it's never ezy.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. Yeah, self-financing I feel like would be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
What was like the writing process like? Did you guys write? Who wrote it exactly?
Well, I wrote it.
Oh, you wrote it too.
I have a very
Okay.
deep process. We live in the Hollywood Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little kind of rooftop garret. Interesting history. John Lennon actually wrote some music there years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
But so I locked myself in with a case of Johnny Walker Black and a case of cigars, and 3 weeks later I come out with a script.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
It's very deep, for you English students.
How long have you been making movies for?
Just 50 years.
That's a good amount of time. What got you really into it?
God, I came from music. I have a long, convoluted history. God, I've been an Afro-Latin percussionist since I was 16. I cut my theater teeth with a group called the Cockettes, and that was C-O-C-K. E-T-T-E-S in San Francisco. And then I was in a French theater company for years, and then came back here and started the Mystic Nights of the Oingo Boingo with my brother Danny Elfman. That became Oingo Boingo.
That's cool.
And Anna's got an even more interesting history between ballet, cello, and the Marines.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, both of my parents were career Marines, and I grew up in the theater doing ballet since I was 3. And they were kind of old school, so I wasn't allowed to play video games or anything, but I had a huge... they had me watch a lot of older films, classics and pre-code horror and things like that. So I was exposed to a lot of different fun films and kind of dug my teeth into that.
Hell yeah. What was one of your favorite what was one of your favorite movies that made you want to make movies?
Oh man, I think my first exposure to horror was Lon Chaney's 1925 Phantom of the Opera, and he's actually my idol. We share the same birthday, April Fool's Day, and so birthday. I've kind of modeled my whole career
and
personal.
she even married a fool.
I did. All part of the plan. So I'm just, he's iconic, and to me the father of horror, and yeah.
Oh yeah. How long did it take you guys to film the movie?
13 days, the fastest I've ever worked.
Oh wow, yeah, that's really fast.
2 cameras. I had a really top professional cast and crew. Anastasia was in every scene, and she's forget between Marines and ballet. She doesn't complain. She doesn't even tell me if she's injured or sick.
Yeah.
Just a trooper and there all the time. Mm-hmm. So it was, a night and day effort, but that was the fastest I've ever worked, and I'm very pleased with the result.
Oh yeah. No, I mean it turned out great. Like it was a great watch.
Yeah. I mean, we've got 200 special effects.
Yeah.
Between my brother Danny Elfman and Ego Plum, our bandmate. By the way, he's the top animation composer in Hollywood today.
Oh hell yeah.
So we've got like a low budget film with $1 million musical score.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. Hell yeah. So you grew up here in LA?
I was born in Watts.
Okay.
On 103rd Street, and then we moved up to Crenshaw.
Nice.
In the hood. So I had a very interesting and unique background.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in Crenshaw?
Well, it was. I'm trying to think. Okay, in Watts, there was only one other Caucasian family on the block, and they were like hillbillies from Arkansas, and I was like 3-4 years old, and they'd beat me up for killing Christ, and I didn't even know who Christ was. And then in Crenshaw, okay, I was very athletic. Mm-hmm. So I was a state track champion, and I went on to become a middleweight boxer.
Oh, nice.
And so I actually did very well in the high school.
Yeah.
Although it was kind of like a little bit West Side Story-ish, that if I stayed...
They're all dancing and singing around. I'm sorry.
Well, there was that, but if I stayed within my boundaries in the neighborhood, I was fine.
Yeah,
but it was danger if I went into the next neighborhood. Mm-hmm. There was a little bit of that thing. But I was treated very well.
Oh yeah. No, that's awesome. I keep thinking of the West Side Story, like dancing around.
Well, I had a couple skills. Okay, so my mother was an English teacher, went on to publish 16 novels post age 50.
Yeah.
So I was grew up immersed in books and literature, and then different kids had different skills. Like someone could put a basket through the hoop. Someone could hit the baseball out of the park. If I hit a guy on the chin, he'd fall down.
Yeah, definitely.
So I got along quite well.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
No, but I love the barbecue down in Crenshaw, and even though my family was secular Jewish, we'd go down to the First AME, the famed church, and hear the gospel choirs on Sunday.
Yeah.
And get some of the spirit, and then go for soul brunches. It was a great. I love Crenshaw.
Oh yeah. How long did you box for?
I was a sparring partner on and off in a pro stable for 20 years.
Okay.
So it was. I was a very good amateur, but I could hold my own. So it's something I did on and off, and it kept me in shape.
Yeah.
And more than that is I look at life as theater. And it was kind of like, here's this other Damon Runyon-esque universe of the old trainers and the fighters and gangsters and stuff. And I'm kind of part of that. And so I loved the whole milieu, and it kept me in shape. I could hold my own for the first 3-4 rounds.
Yeah.
But what would happen is, just like with a amateur poker player versus a pro, they could find the telegraphing. So even if I could punch harder, they'd kick the shit out of me in round 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, boxing?
By the way, I took a ballet class once.
Okay.
And it was harder than fucking boxing. No, they dance on broken toes and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever had to do that?
Oh, definitely.
Oh
Yeah, you
my
just have
gosh.
to smile through it, and the show must go on.
That's wild. Like how does so how long have you been doing ballet for?
Since 3.
Since 3.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, so that's 15 years now, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's like,
Wow, that was a bigger laugh than I wanted, but thank you.
yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty familiar with working with injuries and just having to keep doing stuff. Like when I did Jackass, I literally would have to like if we would do like some crazy thing, and then they would be like, "Oh, well, we need to get another shot of it. We got to do it again," and I'd have to get hurt again, like on purpose. No. And sometimes we have to do it multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys did insane stuff on that show.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's sort of my background, just doing really stupid stuff. And now I have a podcast. So, so how many movies have you made? Have you guys made together?
Well, we've made 2 films together.
Mm-hmm.
I've done 7 features,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe it or not, I've produced 275 kind of celebrity and red carpet videos when I had a magazine and a website. Directed plays. I've done a couple full-length dance documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
Did ABC television afternoon comedy horror for a bit, and right now I'm writing and producing animation.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a gig that came up this last 6 months, but it's really been enjoyable.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Like what kind of animation?
Well, kids and adult.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a while.
Yeah,
I'll give you a
yeah.
heads up before something airs.
Yeah, awesome. So where did you grow up? You grew up here in LA also?
I grew up in like South Orange County, like
Nice,
Laguna.
nice.
Yeah, but because of performances, I was like back and forth to LA all the time. So it's like a home away from home kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever so injury wise from from dancing and stuff, what's one of the craziest injuries, or what's one of the craziest injuries that you had to like show up and just work through?
Oh man, I mean, like being a performer and dancer, it's like you're an athlete, so it's like you've got to, when there's a show, it must go on. I don't know, I've done stuff to like
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, recently for Bloody Bridget, I accidentally like twisted my ankles to try to get the end credit shot. There's like a Irish dancing kind of skit that happens.
She doesn't complain, doesn't say anything, gets the shot, and I find out on the way home.
And help the crew get their stuff
Yeah.
out, because it's like time is money. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, secrets. I'm an actress.
That's what it is. Work through the pain.
Right, it's like pain is beauty,
Yes.
like it's all
Yeah.
part of like the artistic expression, let's say.
Yeah.
At least for me, unluckily.
So how'd you prepare to take on the role of Bloody Bridget?
I don't know. I mean, Ricky.
It was written for her. She was born for it. She inspired it.
I mean, because we self-produced it, it's like I was holding a lot of hats. I wasn't just acting. I was, like dealing with every aspect of filmmaking, behind the scenes and everything. So like helping pick out wardrobe, like working really close with our crew, with the effects and my own design, because my character has like kind of like a dual character. It's like regular Bridget versus like demon Bridget. And I just wanted to like have them different, and I do a lot of my own like creature designs and things and normally, so I have a history in like practical effects and costume design and set design and things like that, so I bring a lot, and I'm very like controlling and like specific with like my visuals and stuff, so luckily that was all great with Rick, and I had a great team that supported the whole thing. So I mean, just getting through it, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. I mean, you've done film stuff. It's,
Okay.
it's like 24/7.
Here was one of my hacks. I could write a book on hacks to shoot faster and save money and make it go. So I've got like 6 big bloody kill scenes. And normally you have to schlep your practical effects department location to location to location. I shot all the kills against green screen. And then with special effects put in the backgrounds to blow apart.
Yeah.
And that saved me a week of shooting. But what I had to do with poor Anastasia is she's got like Gorilla Tape with tubes for the blood and everything. So here she's like ripping the heart, nails are breaking off. Then she has to eat some piece of shit from the floor of the effects house and not throw up. And then basically it was like cut, rip the tape off, rush her in and out of a cold shower, back into makeup, action for 13, 14 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it saved him, but it killed me.
Yeah, no, I bet. Good
No,
God.
but I mean, it saved a week shooting.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, that's definitely great. What were the hearts made of that you were biting into?
It was like foam and latex. I was
So you weren't actually eating them.
No, well, okay, so before we started filming, he would like kind of like, I would say jokingly, but knowing him, because he's a grill master, he's like serious. He's like, I'm gonna get you some hearts, and you're just gonna have to like tear into it and like deal with this, because I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat meat. And so I'm like, I'm trying to be a trooper, like, yes, whatever for art, like, we're gonna get this done. Like, I love horror, let's do it. And so it ended up being, he told me that it was gonna be like gelatin, like a gelatin mold, but it ended up being like foam and latex. And then because, it wasn't fun. Because of my fangs, I couldn't like break it away, because there were moments where like I had to like eat it in front of the camera. And so they had to score it on set. So I had all of this micro foam and latex swimming around, and so I would like retch in between and like try to like keep it going. It's like it wasn't great, but I love what I do and I love horror, so
she was a trooper and it came out great on screen.
Oh no, it definitely did.
That's the only thing that matters.
This guy. I love him.
Cut! Clean her up! Next! Action!
What we do for art.
Yeah, for real. I'm a huge fan of practical effects. What do you guys think of like how like mainly like in movies nowadays, like everything's CG? Like most of the time. Like do you ever like do you like practical effects more like when you see them, or
Well, both. I mean, I actually met Anastasia at a practical effects house. She was nights at Stella Adler. Her day job was practical effects, and I was doing some business in the shop. That's how we met.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very pro practical effects. Also, I'm like a huge monster kid and like horror nerd and freak. So I'm like very down with practical effects. I think that obviously technology is going like warp speed ahead. So it's like, I feel like there's definitely like an area where they can be married and like CG can enhance a practical effect, you know. But I personally, just because I grew up on like heavy practical effects driven horror, and gateway horror, like Gremlins and Beetlejuice and Hocus Pocus, like all kinds of stuff, and so that's really important to me. And luckily we had the opportunity to do a lot of practical effects, and I was like actually spraying blood onto my victims and ripping like chest open. It was wild. And it's like you think that it's like in one take, but it's not. It's like from different angles. So it's like I have to do it over and over again and try to like replicate it. So it's like a lot going on, but it was so wonderful.
And speaking of which, for you fans in Los Angeles, May 18th, our Bloody Bridget local premiere, Anastasia's doing a bloody burlesque number, and she's going to rip someone's heart out in the audience. With blood and guts, and for real.
Oh, yeah.
That's
so
great.
she does bloody burlesque.
No, that's great. How long have you been doing burlesque for?
Well, Years and years. I mean, like, I don't do classic burlesque. Like, I'm not Dita. I do like more of like gruesome. Because
David Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I love practical effects, so I'll like rig things, and I love horror, so it's like more demon centric stuff, and like odes to things. Like I've done like an ode to David Lynch called Feel Good, and then I've done like a Hodorowski called The Holy Blood.
Yeah, they took us to Mexico City, the Hodorowski family, and she had a thing with the arms coming off, the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and performing in front of the family and you know, in this wonderful place, and for their 30th anniversary, so that was amazing. And I've got one for The Howling and Suspiria. So like I love creating these like wild, dramatic, kind of immersive pre-shows that are like before a screening to really like you know, ground the audience, and it's just like it's fun.
Oh yeah.
So it's like something weird that like I don't even want to say that not anybody's doing, because I don't want anybody to copy me, because it's so weird, you know.
Yeah, no, it's really cool that you started, you know, you made it your own, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying.
And then I do a burlesque number, it clears the theater for the next show.
We're gonna have to see that.
I thought that was just for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so tell me more about the Bloody Bridget touring show.
Well, we've been doing film festivals. We've won 20 festivals so far, everywhere from Canada to Brazil.
Oh, cool.
I'm an Afro-Latin percussionist, and I have to say, as much as I love my Canadian friends, I found better percussionists in Brazil.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? And Anastasia was mobbed in Brazil by women as well as men.
In a good way.
Yeah.
They love the character, and they're like very supportive of like female empowerment.
I want to
and,
kill my boyfriend like that.
kind of like that. Yeah. They were so fun, and so I mean, it's wonderful, because that's where I kind of started doing the Bloody Burlesque opening for the film. Was our world premiere in Brazil in Fantaspoa Film Festival, and they were so enthusiastic and wonderful. So you know, it's like when you know, when you have like the audience in your palm, you know, it's like it's such a wonderful feeling.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, so we've been touring with the film, and so like when we go out to the film festival, we'll tap into the local talent, and so Rick will
I pick up a band.
yeah.
We just did Seattle, great musicians there.
Oh, hell yeah.
In Austin, great musicians, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll do the Bloody Burlesque, and I'll find like a local victim, should I say, and pull them up on stage and rip their bloody heart out.
That's great. What about filmmaking really gave you the bug and drove you to make the Forbidden Zone?
Okay, my theater group, musical theater troupe, Mystic Knights, the Oingo Boingo, was morphing into a rock group, Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
And I essentially wanted to document on film what I was doing on stage. And Forbidden Zone is largely my theater show for Mystic Knights, the Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
And my bucket list film is Forbidden Zone 2. I've come close a couple times, but it's something before I die, I'm doing Forbidden Zone 2. It's all written. We've got music. It's ready to go. I just need the money.
Yeah, don't we all? So I know you have a massive love for David Lynch, and how did you get into Twin Peaks?
Oh man, I mean, like you said, I'm obsessed with David Lynch, and I love his work. And I kind of like backtrack finding Twin Peaks through his other films like Lost Highway, you know. And I don't know, I'm just so obsessed with that world. And obviously, for me, my favorite character is Killer Bob. So yeah.
Here's a David Lynch story.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so
Here we go.
let's hear it.
she prepared the wildest birthday surprise you could ever imagine. And I said, I just want to stay home low key. And then she said, oh, God, your son and your brother Danny they want to take you out to dinner. So I was dropped off at this restaurant, and okay, so I'm having dinner with my sons, and Danny, and David Lynch is at the next table. We're kind of acquaintances, but it's kind of like almost our shoulders are touching, and then she arranges for a car to pull up and someone in a gorilla suit to kidnap me from the restaurant. And someone asked David Lynch about it later, and he said, oh yeah, that was interesting. Well, anyway, in a nutshell, so I'm taken to a massage place, given a massage, I'm drunk as hell, and then there's only a clown suit to put back on. I'm blindfolded, taken somewhere, put in a wheelchair with blinders and like someone moving a camera. The first thing is Anastasia shooting across the sky. It was on some harness. And then I moved around into like all these little vignettes with friends.
Yeah.
And it was like being dosed.
Yeah, I bet, dude. That sounds insane.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a birthday surprise, darling.
No, let me tell you, it took me, like 3 months of hard work, secret planning.
Yeah.
Just because, like, the whole family, like Danny, Bodie, everybody has like such intense schedules, so like I had to like keep on planning, and all of that time he's telling me like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to dinner with you, like no big parties or anything. And I'm like, you better buckle up because you're about to have the time of your life. But yeah, I had Bodie, his son, kidnap him in the beginning. Like I told him it was an Uber and like go outside, go grab it for us, because like I was like, we're gonna go out to dinner. And so it was his son Bodie, and he brought him to the restaurant, and Louis was there and Danny was there, and it was a fun time.
No, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of dedication went into that.
Thank you.
That's
Thanks
awesome.
for noticing.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
We try.
Can I butt in and ask a question? And maybe you should ask it.
Yeah.
If it's a real answer. Have you done a lot of like immersive experiences? Like, did you take some of that from immersive experience? I'm just curious because it sounds like one.
No,
Okay.
I hadn't, but I'm very inspired by like David Lynch and surreal stuff. So I was just trying to think of like, what did we have on hand? Like, how can I get all this stuff going? Our friend Dale Launer, who's like this amazing writer, he has this wonderful house, and he wanted to like host the party for after. And so it was like dealing, it was like planning everything beforehand. And but no, I hadn't done anything like that. My actual like first experience with immersive theater was doing Darren Lynn Bousman's Theater Macabre.
Theater Macabre. Okay.
No, and we were the band during that. So it was crazy. It was like 20 shows a night of like horror burlesque that I did, and he's about to tell you a fun story.
Okay.
I can feel him gearing up.
Okay, so Anastasia's in a theater company, and they asked me to write a one act. So I write a very poignant play called Dead Man's Boner.
Yeah.
And in the play, I wrote a band. So we've got to put a band together. So we put a band together that's on stage just for the play. They were just friends that came together.
Yeah.
So Darren Bousman, a friend, is in the audience and said, I'm doing this huge immersive event. Can I get your band?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a band, and now we're a band. And we did his thing for the summer, and the band is still together.
Now it has an album.
Mambo Diabolico, who are going to open our show at May 18th for the Bloody Bridget Los Angeles premiere.
Fuck yeah.
But anyway, so it's kind of like art imitating life.
Yeah.
Or life imitating art. I don't know which one.
Yeah, and it was so fun. I mean, even then, I didn't get to really experience the immersive theater that he created, because it was like by the time we got to enjoy it as an audience after our run, all of the cast just knew us because we were always there, and so they would drop character and just talk to us, and I'm like, no, like come on, give me the experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking great. You think there's gonna be a Bloody Bridget too?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And it's a very interesting story, because in Bloody Bridget 1, along with the priest and the devil, she's got her 2 Jewish lawyers who are both little people, Daniel Dershowitz and Daniel Dershowitz Jr.
Yeah.
The card says, better dial Daniel.
Yeah.
So anyway, they were yarmulkes. They're from New York. And these are feisty Jewish lawyers. So anyway, in Bloody Bridget 2, we've got a little bit of a threesome going with her gay friend Pepe and Baron Samedi, the god of life and death from Haiti, cigar, top hat, whatever. The devil's watching on his laptop from hell, gets jealous and introduces a very painful foursome.
Okay.
And then Bridget has to call her lawyers, the Dershowitz, and the devil makes them go to Ireland and infiltrate the leprechauns to get a document. But Dad, they're going to see the yarmulkes under the hat. Shut up, put it on, let's get going.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting culture thing going on with the Dershowitz and infiltrating the leprechauns.
No, I love that. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I feel like Bloody Bridget, like, there's a lot more, like, assholes on the street that she's got to take care of.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
I have to interject one thing. Oh, okay, if you go to Haiti, in the religion, Baron Samedi's wife is a red-haired Irish saint, Saint Bridget of Ireland, based on a Celtic goddess. So he's married to a red-haired Irish woman.
Yeah.
That's why the Dershowitz have to go to Ireland and infiltrate the leprechauns. Just very important to have the historical context.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get the full poignancy.
Yeah,
of the scene.
definitely.
Dad, they'll find out.
Yeah, what's the process of making Bloody Bridget different from your other films?
Yeah, it was even faster.
Yeah. Was that the only difference?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. How much of your character is Bridget and how much of your character is you?
Well, I'd like to say it's a lot of Bridget, and I don't know. I mean, it was written for me, so I don't know.
Well, I played the devil. How much of that was me? Well, I'll tell you one thing. My advice to young film directors: if you really want to get some respect from your cast and crew, come dressed as the devil.
Yeah. You look great as the devil, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, Corbin clips that for a clip. You can make a good edit of that. I love it. Do you guys believe in ghosts?
Oh, I do exorcisms periodically.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I blow cigar smoke and I stamp my feet and go, get the fuck out of here!
And it works.
It works.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, because, okay, so here we are in our bodies, with our spiritual souls.
Yeah.
Now, I'm much more afraid of the soul with the body with the big stick in his hand.
Yeah.
Than just the Casper the ghost floating around without the body and a stick.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what lesson I learned in Crenshaw.
Earlier we were talking about Lon Chaney. Why is he so important to the horror genre?
Well, I mean, he was literally writing the book about practical effects makeup and creating horror and defining horror as we know it. There weren't any unions back then when he was working, in pre-code horror and silence and things like that.
Yeah.
So he was literally creating it on the spot and doing all of that stuff. I don't know, I'm so inspired by him and just his work ethic and that, a lot of interesting facts about him. I mean, both of his parents were deaf mutes, and so he was very into pantomiming and sign language, and he put a lot of that into his performances. If you look at The Hunchback of Notre Dame or Phantom of the Opera, it's all there, he's doing different sign language for love and fear and terror and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he with see, I'm obsessed with Lon Chaney Sr. And so so with Phantom, he he was so obsessed with that makeup. He had a life cast of himself at home, and so he would do his makeup at home, and he went to like extreme lengths to make sure that like the public and like the press didn't see anything beforehand. So he would do his makeup at home, drive to set in like a dummy mask that was like human, covering everything up so that like press wouldn't get shots of him going in. And he had closed sets, and he basically like directed his scenes. And because of his history doing, he started out as a dancer, choreographer, and comedian, doing kind of like touring with the vaudeville like circuit. And so he knew a lot about like dramatic lighting and things like that. So he like directed a lot of his scenes with that. But so it was very surprising for the other actors in those scenes, like, you know, seeing that makeup when they took off the mask and everything like that. But anyways, like, I'm obsessed with Lon Chaney Sr. and practical effects in general. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so obsessed with like pre-code horror and like practical effects and like practical effects driven horror like Wolf and you know, the Witches of Eastwick, Gremlin, you know, I was talking about like all of that kind of stuff. What else? American Werewolf and London, you know, like Rick Baker, Dick Smith, you know, all of the greats. And so those all inspired me, and I feel like hopefully that comes across with Bloody Bridget, because, you know, we were doing our effects practical and, you know, so much fun. I love getting bloody and messy.
Oh, yeah. Do you think it's easier as an actor to have the practical effects on set to react?
Hell yeah, I do. I mean, like, there's nothing better than, like, having to play with guts and blood and having, like, a practical, you know, stage knife. You know, like, what's better than that? I don't know.
I have to interject. So I just did a vampire novel, The Schlemazel of Supreme, and we're doing the audio book, and so Joe Dante's doing one of the characters, and he directed my daughter-in-law, Jenna Elfman, in Looney Tunes.
Oh, yeah.
And she had to do all these scenes where no one was there.
Yeah,
they're putting in later, said it was the hardest thing she ever did.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could like just imagine, like, it's like, okay, they're right there, and it's like, I don't fucking see anyone, dude. Like, God. Tell me more about this book.
The Schlemazel of Supreme?
Yeah.
It's a Jewish vampire story.
Oh, I'm already in.
I tell you, with love, lust, revenge, and redemption. But it's we're doing the audio book right now, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
Mark is a good friend of mine. So Mark Miller. So when he said that, I'm like, holy shit, that's so cool.
It was a poignant tale of this poor Jewish kid, Schlemazel, and he's set upon by the town bullies and whatever. And it gets even more complicated when he falls in love with Ludmilla, the comely young blonde innkeeper's daughter. And then he's beaten up by the town folks, thrown out to die. And then the countess comes in the black coach and changes him. And boy, does he have his revenge. So it's so they're in the tavern, and the Ivan the son is going to marry Ludmilla, and suddenly like a big piece of like mutton hits him in the face, and someone says, "Who throws mutton in my glorious son?" And they go like, "I do, you son of a bitches." And then in the far back of the tavern is the Jew Schlemazel calmly spinning his dreidel, his yarmulke at a rakish angle.
I love this.
That's so sick.
I cannot wait to read this book.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. You ever think you might adapt that into a film?
Oh, it's definitely going to be a film.
I want to see that so bad.
I started to write it as a film, and then I said, fuck it, let's just do it as a novel, because you can really get into their heads. There's also a little thing, you know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
So he wants to get back to normal, and so apparently there's some rabbi at the top of the mountain that knows how to, like, reverse vampirism or something.
Yeah.
And they go up there, and no one's there. and only he's died, and only his little pet rat is there. With a yarmulke too. I'm Jewish, and the rat's called McKeith. It goes like, how could the rabbi teach a rat how to do this? If he could teach a rat how to talk, he could teach a rat to do anything. But anyway, it's a very poignant tale.
That's amazing.
You can borrow it when I'm done.
Yeah, I would love to, because that's amazing. Before we wrap up, tell me more about the LA premiere of Bloody Bridget.
Okay, well, it'll be our Los Angeles premiere, May 18th. Go to our website, bloodybridget.com, Bloody Bridget Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And our full band, Mambo Diabolico, is going to do a little set before the thing. And Anastasia is going to kill someone in the audience with Bloody Burlesque. That's May 18th, Bloody Bridget, Los Angeles premiere. It's going to sell out, so grab your tickets fast.
Well, you can.
Yeah, everyone, make sure you grab your tickets. And so I ask everyone that comes on the podcast this question: is there anything that you do every day to make sure you're reaching your maximum potential?
God,
That one through, you guys.
God, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't jerk off and drink while I drive.
Yeah. That's a good one, though. That's a good one.
Sorry, honey.
I feel like that's probably if like more people didn't do that.
Does he look sorry?
If more people did that and like tried not to do that, we'd have so much better traffic in LA.
Oh my God, we would.
Yeah, like for real. Like, what about you?
I don't know. I mean, just keeping this guy alive, I guess.
Okay, valid. Valid.
No, I love him. He's great.
Ain't that the sweetest thing you ever heard, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you guys so much for doing the pod. How can we find you?
Oh, okay. So we're on. Well, thank you. Thanks for having us. This has been so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And, we're very active on social media. So Facebook, Richard Elfman, Anastasia Elfman, all the films, Forbidden Zone, Aliens, Clowns and Geeks, and Bloody Bridget are on Facebook and have their own fun pages. And then on Instagram as well. So Richard Elfman. I'm actually hard to find. I'm under my stage name, Dahlia DeMont, and then all of our films, so Forbidden Zone official, and then Aliens, Clowns and Geeks, and Bloody Bridget film, they're all there. And for Forbidden Zone, we do fun fan art Fridays where we get to support the fans and showcase them and their art for Forbidden Zone. So
Gotta support the team.
yeah, so cosplay, makeup, selfies with merch or with Danny or Ricky, it's a fun time. So it's trying to create a fun, safe environment for all of us, weirdos,
safe?
let's say. Yeah. Well, okay, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, make sure you go follow them. And thanks for watching, everyone. Stay maximum.